Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, Bashem Rakak Wadash. My name is Yakalba from Plaintables Philadelphia, Philly. Now this lesson is, can the Edomite or Caucasian church and the people that believe in the Caucasian church, can they explain the icons? All right? Because according to their tradition, the so-called the whitewashing, the Caucasianizing of the images of the Lord and complete fabrications, they're directly opposed to the, say, Greek and Russian icons. All right? Can they explain these images? You can't. So let's move forward. It's Madonna and Child. It's supposed to be a prophet or wonder. Let's see what he says.
They're all Jake. These are all our people.
Not around. Not this other spirit. There's some of us on it.
That's right.
Alright. I got some of my own on the show. Yep, these are the saints. You see the women with their head covered. All right. That's brother from Boston. Oh, it's Massachusetts. Oh, I think that's Michigan. Okay, Clinton, Michigan, Massachusetts. All right. Yeah, the church fathers are all so-called black people. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, one of the tribes. All right. Our ancestors made Christianity popular. How are they going to explain this? Let me guess, they painted them black so they could trick us. Oh, man. Just going to stop it on a good one. These brothers still in the camp, man. Stop it on something undeniable. Man, where I started at was pretty good, but well, let's move forward. How do, like, because you have like mainly like Edomites go to these churches, so-called Caucasians or whatever. They see these images and what clicks in their mind? You know, they see the church fathers are all dark-skinned people. All right, you have variations of different browns to light. They can clearly see it, but when they see it, it's something else computes, clicks in their mind. Well, can't be talking about these niggas. They used to be slaves, so that's what they're speculating what they think. It's undeniable. I mean, this is just one thing of many things, topics we have in Israel, you know. But let me go back to the beginning. Yeah, right here. Alright, I'll stop right there. I'm going to read prophecy first. Revelation 13 and 14. And his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. So the Lord had white woolly hair, which is a sign of his wisdom and maturity. And the texture, wool, like a sheep, All right, who has that type of hair? So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, starting with the tribe of Judah, which is so-called Black Americans. All right, their tribe, their biblical nationality, which is their actual nationality, is Yehuda or Judah. All right, and his feet like unto fine brass, which is frankincense, brass together makes this word up, which goes back to the Hebrew. All right, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. All right, look that word up, fine brass. It goes, part of that goes back to the Hebrew. That's how we know that Hebrew Israelites wrote the New Testament. To say that the writings of the New Testament. All right, meaning after Malachi. All right, so when you look at the icons, all right, pay mind to this. So for anybody try to tell you that like just the painting's old or just some shit, you know, I had a nigga tell me, or they painted them black so they could trick you. I actually had an actual person, a live person, tell me that, like 15, about 15 years ago, right, more than that. Says, all right. So whenever they try to deceive you and say, "Oh, there's an explanation why they're dark," there's an explanation why they don't look like Renaissance art. They look like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo's paintings. Why don't they look like that? Because that's Renaissance art. All right, those are paintings to bring in their new system, to whitewash, to put out the images, the dark images, and to bring up their say Caucasian images. All right, iconoclasm. It's the form of say Edomite Caucasian supremacy. All right, so you can see it, but I'm gonna read it in case you're driving or whatever. It says the icon is in very good condition. Nearly all the original paintwork, as well as the final highlights on the faces, clothes, and buildings, have been preserved. All right. So whenever they try to say, "Oh, we don't know why the images are dark," well, because the church fathers, the people of the land, whether they were so-called Negroes or not, they knew that those church fathers and the people of the Bible were dark-skinned people. All right. The history of portable iconostasis icons can be traced back to circa 1500. All right. Preserved in Kiev Icon Museum that was probably part of an easily portable iconostasis. All right, so we got Ukrainian icons also. Well, Ukraine used to be part of Russia until they split. So the government moved to Moscow. All right, so I'm gonna get so this goes for all the icons that are dark, that they try to persuade you that it's another explanation of why they're dark images. All right, just remember this. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and display this. You know, here is icon. You clearly see. I forget exactly who these were. I have it down another screenshot, but I think this might be like Gabriel, Peter, and Mary, if I'm not mistaken. Alright. You see the long garments down to the foot. And they are dark brown skinned people. Alright, so how is the Christian church going to explain this? This is also from a book, and in the video the brother was showing you Prince Vladimir, or Vlad for short, and his sons Boris and Gleb. Alright. You can see they're dark Russians. Alright. I don't know if they got their feet or not. They got their feet. Prince Vladimir Prince Vladimir, and Boris and Gleb. I believe in the video they were reading this. It's probably the same exact icon. The beginning of Christianity in Russia is inextricably, I'm saying that right, associated with Prince Vladimir of Kiev in 988. I believe they were reading that. All right, this was from our book, The Power of Icons. I believe it's called The Power of Icons. All right, so you get the point. All right, they were told to take all the idols down to the river and destroy them. These were Israelites. These were real Judah. All right, Prince Vladimir and his sons Boris and Gleb. All right. Here we have Saint Nicholas. I think I can remember all these. We got it's Nicholas as a child, so-called Santa Claus. Right here on the left, I believe this is a priest, and this is Saint Nicholas' father and his mother. This is when he's Saint Nicholas when he's older. In the middle here, all right, he's the actual priest, a church father. And this is Constantine the Great. All right, Saint Constantine is said in hoc signo vinces. I believe his name some rise and conquer. I forget the exact meaning. The Constantine that put the Bible together. All right, that's Constantine. All right, which he was a sun worshiper. He just tried to incorporate, the customs, the traditions of the teachings of the disciples and the apostles into paganism. And Saint Nicholas again on the right. It's Nicholas. There's Saint Nicholas stopping someone from getting put to death. All right, Saint Nicholas again. I forget what the middle, the small child is. But that's Nicholas, that's an adult. All right, so the Israelites, these are the southern kingdom, scattered throughout Asia, Europe. All right, they're so-called black people. All right. So how is the Christian church going to explain this? All right, these are the Russians, the Turks and the Greeks are supposed to be all so-called white people, Caucasian Edomite. They're supposed to be Caucasian looking, right? So explain this. This might be a better one, or maybe look the same to you. I don't know. Right there, that's Constantine the Great. Saint Nicholas is in the middle. Over here is Constantine, he's a child on the left. And Constantine, it's St. Nicholas when he was a child. All right? And St. Nicholas's parents. As you see, you got the woman with her head covered. All right? And St. Nicholas' father. It's Constantine the Great. Right here, when he was sick, he came to see him while he was sick. I think he came to see him while he was sick. I got the page where it explains it. I'll show that next. That's the top middle. All right, as you can see, they're all dark images. They show Constantine with this, Edomitized, let's use that word. Pictures of Constantine the Great. You know what he looked like, or you can just look him up. It's Constantine right there. This is the top middle. Okay. Nicholas appears. Right there we go. Number 2. Dude goes from left to right. And it skips the middle. The middle block. So, top, middle. Nicholas appears to the Emperor Constantine in a dream. Also, it's in a dream. And orders him to release 3 unjustly condemned generals Eurysus, Nepatian, and Apillion, who had prayed to him. All right. And Nicholas' parents, Epiphanius and Nana, or Nona, take him to school where he is taught by his uncle and namesake, the monk Nicholas. So he got his name from his uncle, or he may not have because he's already born, but his uncle had the same name. All right, so that's Constantine. Let's show him again. So if you're thinking Constantine was a so-called white man with those particular features that they exaggerate or display in their drawings or whatever, he didn't have them. He looked like this. Well, really no detail, but you can see the texture, the hair, and the painting color. All right. So explain that. It's back where we started. So that's what the Lord looked like. Now we can get Acts 13. Let's see, first missionary journey. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manasseh, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. All right, so first missionary journey. All right, Antioch. So yeah, blue. Antioch. So he's at Antioch right there, right here, about the middle right. And here sails over to Cyprus. Looks like. All right. Antioch. These were the Israelites were scattered. All right. And they built their own, little communities, and they were mingled in amongst the inhabitants, which were Greek, Japhet, Esau, and the other nations. All right. Let's get the Niger. All right, Niger, of Latin origin, black surname of the prophet Simeon. All right, it's Latin way of saying it. He could have said Kedar. He could have said Shakor. All right, Song of Solomon's. All right, there you go. That proves again that the authors of the writings of the New Testament, all right, after Malachi, our ancestors spoke several languages. They spoke Greek, spoke Latin, spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, all these languages. Now you just put in black Russian icons, so they know they're black. Ancient, what that means, let's say. Right there. Russian antique silver icon. $3,400 on eBay used. How's gonna be new? Of course it's used. Unless somebody's traded it already, it's newly created. All right. These are all like 16th century here. Russian icons, 14th and 16th century. All right. Yep, this is the one I have right here. I have this book, The Power of Icons. I bought this for $150 in like 2008. Back then, that was a lot of money, man, to me. And I said I had to have it. I had to see what the elders and apostles, well, back then the elders were talking about. Okay, I believe they showed the icons, but I had to had to bring it home so I could have a hard copy. All right. $30,000. Goodness gracious. You take a high-res picture and then frame it yourself. You don't need to buy this. But if you're into art, then $30,000. 16th century antique hand-painted Russian icon of Saint Nicholas with life scenes Kovcheg. Well, I showed you Saint Nicholas already. You can just rewind it. You get Saint Nicholas in full fidelity. All right, it's going to be in 1440p anyway, so it'll be nice and clear for your desktop computer or your phone. You can take snapshots and screenshots. That's St. Nicholas. Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right, so remember, he lied to us about who we really were, and we dug up and found out that the church fathers are our ancestors. They look like us. All right. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. All right, so now we're going to look up Renaissance art. The art of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. And I'll end it on, I think I brought this up before. Let me get that up. Well, but now we know that we gotta, look into when Esau brings something out. We gotta look into it and say, well, is this a fact, or is this something that he's lying about? All right, so look up the Edomite art. You had the Sistine Chapel, and you had something called the Creation of Adam. So we're gonna look up that. Let me duplicate this. Sistine Chapel. So this is all new art from. Let me spell that right. Sistine Chapel, and this is called the Creation of Adam, which is it's on the 16th. Yes. Okay, so so they have different areas, and they got different names for them. All right. Let me put the Creation of Adam. Oh, here we go. Already came out. You see, he know what I be typing in. This is right there. The two fingers touching at the baby, to naked babies. This is obviously Greco-Roman inspired artwork. Like little micro penises. Demonic shit over here going on. Alright. Can we make this bigger? Right there. Alright. It's obviously Greco-Roman inspired with the nakedness and everything. This is not a custom of the Hebrew Israelites to draw our artwork. Because this is not supposed to reveal your nakedness like that. Alright. This is something that's a Greek fashion. It's with Japhites, and then you have the Edomites, the Caucasians that mixed themselves and assimilated the Greek culture. Alright. Creation of Adam, Michelangelo. So let's go back to 16. Did one person paint the Sistine Chapel? Or did many people paint it? This is Edomite supremacy, Caucasian supremacy. Pope Sixtus IV, who had it built. The Last Judgment, both by Michelangelo. Alright, Sistine Chapel. Let's see, the frame of the Sistine Chapel lies mainly in the frescoes that decorate the interior, mostly particularly the Sistine Chapel ceiling and the Last Judgment, both by Michelangelo. So Michelangelo painted these because his people were in power. His people, the dark people that were ruling, were dwindling out, and the Caucasian Edomites that were coming into power, that were pretty much in power in a lot of places, painted these new images. Let's say right alongside the dark images. All right? Because the images I just showed you, they weren't like disappeared. They existed at the same time. However, the dark images predate this Renaissance art. This is Renaissance painters, team of Renaissance painters. During the reign of Sixtus IV, a team of Renaissance painters, the Italians, and these, better believe these were, a lot of these, if not all of them, were Moors, descendants of the Moors. These were Israelites. The ones that painted the whitewash images, and I have evidence to support that. All right, I'm gonna show you right now. All right, because remember, Italy was conquered by the Israelites that came from North Africa. They conquered much of Europe. All right, including Italy, Sicily. Ludovico Maria Sforza. His nickname was El Moro. This is Italian for a Moor. So a lot of those painters, by default, some of them had to be descendants of the Moors, all right, which were Israelites. The Francesco I Sforza, a patron of the art during the Milanese Renaissance, he commissioned the fresco of the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. All right. So you got Ludovico and Francesco I. But they're saying here of Francesco was of the house of Sforza. All right. He commissioned for this for Renaissance art, this Renaissance art to be painted, the Last Supper, which is another Edomite supremacy painting. All right. See how to see the change from dark to light, and one of them supposed to be a woman or something like that. I forget. I think that's supposed to be a woman too. The Judge of the Borgia. But there you go. And so our own people had a part in the, say, whitewashing of the dark images, or let's say a creation of these new images that look like the people that were coming into power. All right. So to find this, just type in Ludovico Sforza, and this guy Francisco of Sforza. It was a patron, meaning he paid for it. He commissioned the fresco of the Last Supper, so he was a patron. All right, and he was, I believe, the Duke of Milan. Yep, he's a nobleman who ruled the Duke as a Duke of Milan in 1494. So both the new art, the Renaissance art, and the original icons existed at the same time. However, the dark images predate all the these new images, this new Renaissance art. Ludovico the Moor. All right, and you can. He was also either Giovanni, I believe, was married to Lucretia Borgia. They got divorced. I believe it was Giovanni, if I'm not mistaken. You can fact check that. But he was of the house of Sforza during the same time period. All right. All right, so I'll end it here. I think I made my point. The original art was dark, and the new art, the Renaissance art, was used to erase the remembrance of the true biblical Israelites, all right, which is so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. So, hope you edified. Shalom to the next lesson.